I love hearing new ideas on things that we've just had sitting there that we worked on before and then just never got back to, and it's just we knew that there were opportunities there, but I feel like you identified some that we weren't aware of. As far as like the hierarchy of content, we knew that navigation was an issue, so I'm glad that you incorporated that as well.
Yeah, and just your thoughts on reorganization of stuff that's existing. It's not that we have bad stuff, just where does it go so that people can find it easier when they're actually looking for the things that they need. I really appreciate it. It's some really smart thinking. And I know this is a class, but I'll tell you, and I think Kristen can back me up on this, we've seen way worse presentations on stuff from professional organizations. So really hats off to you guys. This is really excellent, great, well thought out, and really easy to make a case to our leadership to make some moves on our website and free up some dollars to make sure things happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That's extra applause for that, okay?
I have a question for you too.
Yeah.
So as this is all unfolding in front of you, which points did you say, oh, that's news, or like we must act on this? What were the ones that really hit you?
Slide one. I was like, we need to act on this right now. No,
I think the request process. I mean, everything is so laborious right now and I feel like it's the way that we ask our meeting planners to communicate with us currently is prohibitive, and it sets barriers, and if people don't want to jump through those hoops, then they don't contact us. But the way that you guys outlined it, it's just like check boxes. That's really smart thinking, and I don't
think I've ever seen that before.
know.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's kind of like we've had that, not on our site necessarily. We've seen that on competitor sites on the leisure side of travel, but not on the meeting planner side of travel.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's new thinking.
Cool.
That really stuck with me.
And I would say that just you're thinking about the navigation. We've known that the navigation has been, hampering our activities, but the way you guys put it together just makes so much sense, and it makes it so much more friendly to get into. So I think that's great. Those are the things that I hung up on. But like I said, I kind of hung up on everything. I'm like, yeah.
Awesome.
So,
That's great.
really great work.
I have a question for you guys. So when you were doing this research, I know we had talked a few times, like it was getting a little dicey about finding research subjects. How did that finally play out?
Well, we just had to really leverage our network. I mean, we ended up with friends and family and friends of friends, and then, it just took a little bit of time to get that all together. We started reaching out to people, but it takes them a little while to get back to you. So then finally we built up enough people, and we were able to test with like 10 meeting planners, I think, overall in the end.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic,
Yeah.
because I know that we were challenging in getting back to you on those pieces.
That's all right.
Because we were in
Worked out.
turn going to our services team, and it's like all of these like client privacy issues, and so I'm glad that it worked out. I'm glad
I mean, I can totally understand it. Yeah, because it's just like, you don't know us that well, and like you don't want to give us your trusted contacts to,
It's the fact that we
in
had
case
to
we're
defer to
idiots. I don't
other
know.
people also. So
Yeah.
but you guys did such a good
Yeah.
job, and we're so resourceful in how you guys garnered the information you needed. So really, hats off to you guys. It's really impressive.
Thank you.
Well, it worked out good, actually. It worked out really well because we ended up finding planners that had not used your services. So that actually did turn out quite well. And
promotion for us.
yeah, so I mean, well, it was just like, it was, you have these two audiences, right? And Nicole Stalker had discussed that too, that there are two audiences, the people who book independently and the people who booked through you guys.
Sure.
And the people we ended up finding were the people who really didn't know that. And so that was good insight for us.
Did you find that people didn't know that DMOs were there as a free resource?
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That blows my mind.
yeah, truly, we did. That's
Were they
basically what
local
we found.
planners?
Yeah, local planners.
Yeah.
I think we had
Out of country too.
Out of country
Yeah.
too. We interviewed some planners in India, and they hold events in the U.S., but they didn't.
There is one interesting find that I would like to point out is, so there was this planner, she wanted to have a meeting in Seattle, and she must have searched meeting spaces in Seattle, and Visit Seattle never popped up.
Yes.
And she never saw it, and the whole process turned out to be really frustrating for her, and they moved the meeting to San Diego.
Which is
So that,
terrible, right?
so that happened.
Well, and I had a similar experience with a different meeting planner who, she had searched meeting spaces in Seattle, and she's a local person, and she had searched meeting spaces in Seattle, and Visit Seattle's site didn't rank in the top 10. So she got to like the Bell Harbor Conference Center and maybe some
Yeah.
other like.
It sort of
what's
made
that?
us
Those
type
private
like
event
different
spaces.
things in Google, like does Visit
Yeah.
Seattle pop up or not?
Yeah.
But-
Right.
And we have like
So-
it's gonna be in the report, so it does not come up on a lot of searches. So
There's a few key searches that it's not
Yeah.
ranking for.
yeah.
Just to the surprising thing that people didn't know what services you offered. That's actually an industry trend that we found,
Yes.
that meeting planners, especially the independent ones, especially the new ones, just have no idea that they can be helped for free.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
We got
plaster
that
that
from that.
across the top of your site that we can help and you don't have to pay us.
Yes, free
Yeah.
services here,
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
blinking sign.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Just good SEO, I think, will help.
And
help
I
you some.
think fixing information architecture with the style guide, the writing style guide, and having the navigation labels in place helps with SEO. So it
Does
helps
well.
solving the SEO problem as well, because
Yeah.
then you're gonna rank up for the right things.
So,
Yeah. So I think fixing information architecture or navigation is gonna solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. A lot
Overall.
of things at once.
so good.
You know, not to put priorities on the wrong things, but because your thinking and your logic and your design ideas were all great, but you know what I care about. And I just thank you so much for having nice, simple, digestible, good, clean slides. Yay.
And for that, we'll have to thank Sabina for helping us out for that.
Did she
No, you did the work.
take it to you?
I didn't do this. You did this. You had
And seeing
some
the
values.
actual responses from people is really impactful,
Isn't that so
really
interesting?
compelling, so
Yeah.
it's really nice to have that.
Will we have access to these slides in order to help
Absolutely.
sell the rest of our
Definitely
team on
slides,
it?
yeah.
And you have all the data from the testing of the.
We will
information
have
architecture.
all the recordings, we'll pass it on. So, yeah.
And you know, it's been done in the past, up to you, where student teams have come and presented to others in your organization. And I bet we could
Oh, yeah.
make that
We
happen.
should do that.
Yeah, we'll look at that and see if we can get you guys in for sure. I mean, to be honest, this one holds the keys to everything, so you kind of talked to the no, but yeah, I mean, and actually more experience with that is really good. I think that a lot of the people, our convention services team, who couldn't be here today, I'm sure that they would love to really kind of understand from your mouths and presentation how it all works.
Yeah, because we're thinking of it obviously from a marketing standpoint, so understanding, the wireframes and, how you're putting this together, they would have a whole different set of questions because they're coming at it from that client services side. And so the hierarchy of like what a meeting planner looks for first and that kind of thing, they might have more questions that would dig into that part of your research. So that could be really interesting,
Yeah.
actually.
Was the term you used DMO? Did I get that right?
Destination Marketing Organization.
That's what you
DMO.
are?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We used to be.
And your question was, did people not know that there was such a thing in Seattle in particular, or in general that
Overall.
the category exists?
I mean, I was thinking more about that they knew there was one in Seattle, but yeah, I mean, if they don't know the ones in Seattle, they're probably not looking to ask about anywhere else either. No. That's always been like a really weird thing for me, that meeting planners don't learn that
like
when they first
going
started
in.
learning to be a meeting planner. Oh, there's all these free services. out there.
Especially
You should use them.
corporate and association meeting planners, you think if they're planning national meetings in different cities, that would be their first go-to. It's like, oh, I'm in a new city that I'm not aware of, let's talk to the authorities on, like the
Yeah.
people that know.
And so they
And that would be a
they go
DMO.
straight to the convention facilities or the
Correct.
hotels or whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right.
But we're able to bridge that gap between conventions and
Yeah.
hotels and everything else.
And make suggestions
So-
that they wouldn't even be thinking of, that everyone else has a vested interest in not suggesting. If they call a hotel and there's another thing that might work better for them, the hotel's not going to tell us. So we have this really great equal-minded kind of a,
We just want them in our city.
and that's all that matters to us, yeah.
Yeah.
They bring it here.
And we repeatedly heard that from our interviews, that they want that local knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just got to do that campaign to let them know that it's at Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that we found from this industry research study was that association planners typically do know about DMOs, and the corporate planners typically don't know about DMOs. And I think one of the reasons for that might be that corporate planners are often like, it's not really their primary job. They might be an executive assistant and just get
Yeah.
thrown into it,
Sure.
or that's how it often happens. So one of the people I interviewed was a first-time meeting planner. She planned this whole conference for 300 people with live streaming and everything, and she just got thrown into it. So that's why they don't know. I think is partly because they don't get like magical meeting planner training. They just get thrown into things that they don't. They just figure it out.
Yeah, because they have because no one's telling them that there's resources
Right.
out there. So
Yeah.
they go look for them.
And they're capable, so they can do it all themselves. And so if they don't find you, then they just
Well, what a-
do.
They just do it.
Right?
So SEO.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's-
We
yeah.
gotta focus on SEO. That's what I get from getting from that. Awesome.
Thank you, team.
Thank you so
Yeah, thank you.
much. Thanks for the opportunity.